Hi everyone, my name is Christian Lucia, and today we will be doing a certain task, and this is enable GitHub pages. Okay, so we've been able to clone our repository with the VS Code, and we can now work locally. We can work locally and test our code. We can test our code if it is okay by using the live server. Okay, so the live server helps us to check with a website, and it is working on 5000. Now it's offline. Okay, it's working on 5504 port. So very quickly today we'll be opening the page on the GitHub. So we need to find it if it is live there. So all we need to do is to push this to GitHub. Okay, and make sure it is working with a link from GitHub, and we need to make sure it is working. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. This is basically what we are going to do right now. Is it that we are going to push our code to GitHub? But before we do that, I want to hop in back into GitHub, and you can notice that we have initial commit. Everything is in initial commit. To enable the page, to enable our page from GitHub, all we rightly need is go to settings. And you go to settings. Once you are in your settings, once you're in your setting, just scroll down to pages. Okay, here you have pages. So once you scroll down to pages, you click on it, take you to GitHub pages. Okay, so build and deployment. Remember, we talked about build and deployment as a task that we need to do. So under build and deployment, say deploy from branch. So automatically it is deploying from a branch, but we don't need the branch. We actually need it to come from the main branch, and let's take the root instead of document. Take the root. So once we are done, we'll save that. Once we are done, we are going to save it, and once we save it, each time we come back to these pages, we will be able to get a link to show this, a link that is going to show this to be live from GitHub. Okay, instead of from the local machine and using live server, but instead we are going to see it live. Okay, so let's jump back into this place. I'm going to refresh that, but let's go back to where we should be coming from. Let's go back to our code, but before we wait for it, let's drop into our VS Code, and here we are going to commit. Now this is what I'm committing. Okay, I'm going to say GitHub repository cloned and added h2 tag. Added a h2 tag. So this is what I'm going to commit. So I'll click on commit and be watching. We have initial commits from Christian Lucia from the main. Remember, we are using the main. So while we wait, we are going to have another commit. So this commit is going to be repository cloned and added from main. So that is our. So what do we push? We push the setting.json and index.html. Okay, so while we are done with that, what we will need is to synchronize those changes with the GitHub repository. Okay, as simple as that. Alright, so once we are done with it, we are going to check if it has synchronized with the web. So when we come back to this page, we should see, instead of initial commit, we are going to see a new commit, and that is repository cloned and added h2 tag. So repository cloned and added h2 tag. So this is our commit. It is still pending, but we are going to know while we refresh the page. So when we refresh the page, we are going to see if it is committed. It is still pending, but let's check. Okay, so that is being added. Okay, you can see that success. So that success brings this from VS Code. VS Code, we had a message repository cloned and added h2 tag, and in the index where we added that